DB18 at the Devil's Backbone Project in Howell County, Missouri. This is about 10 miles or so northwest of West Plains, Missouri. Someone called us and asked us about the name the other day, and it's not, we certainly weren't trying to be offensive to anyone. We borrowed the name from the Devil's Backbone Wilderness area in the Mark Twain National Forest, which is really not too far, 10 or 15 miles southwest of this property. Just kind of thought it was an interesting name that had some edge, and since it was already kind of an established name within the National Forest, we thought we'd go ahead and borrow it. So that's the deal with the Devil's Backbone Project. Tract 18, beautiful property. We'll zoom in and look at it in a moment here, but it does have direct easement road frontage along its entire west side with the National Forest as well. So you've got your own private surveyed acreage. It's over 5.5 acres, 5.65 acres it looks like. Private acreage where you could do a campsite or potentially a cabin, even a home. Really, it would be off grid, but a deer camp, have your RV and have it on your own private acreage, and then venture into the tens of thousands of acres of national forest, which are adjacent to the property as well. So that's pretty cool. Coming in from the east, from the county road, if you look over here at the right of the video, you'll be coming in probably off of Highway 63, which is north of West Plains, and you'll take, well, depending on which way you're coming from, but either way you'll go west onto County Road 4740 off of Highway 63, which is about 5 or 6 miles north of West Plains. You'll go west for a couple miles on 4740, and you'll come to this little junction here. You'll want to go north on County Road 4870, and it's just a few hundred yards, and you'll see the easement road, which begins on the west side of the road. There's a gate that's set back about 100 feet. If you get a hold of us, we'll get you the instructions for entrance into that gate. It's pretty easy. And then the purple lines on this map are the easement road system. So you'll head on back to the west, take that easement road, and let's see. Once you go west off the county road, it would be about a mile, and then you're going to get to a Y in the road, and you're going to take a right or go north on that last section of easement road, and you go just a couple hundred feet, and you've got tract 18 on the right, and actually you've got the National Forest on the left. So well, I think we said this in another video. One of our guys was joking about this particular section of road. When you're in your truck, if you put your left hand out, that's in the National Forest. If you put your right hand out, that's on the private property. So, I mean, the National Forest is right there, which is fantastic. Let's zoom in and look at this. First thing we want to mention, because I'm quite sure some people will ask, as you see these roads and these trails in different spots throughout the little development, those are not easements. Those are simply old trails that were used for hunting or four-wheeling or whatever when this was all one large tract. So the purple lines that you see, they are the access easements. They are the easement roads. That's what people can use to get to their property. These other trails are simply old trails. They are not easements for anybody to use. Nobody can cross your property on that trail. Yes, you could certainly fence it or block off each side if that was a concern to you. This aerial map or photo or whatever is a few years old. I would say those trails have probably grown up quite a bit already. In this aerial, it makes it look like they're used every day, and they're just not. So that's just something we wanted to let everybody know. Just because there is an old trail does not mean that someone else has the right to cross your property. That is not an easement for anybody. The only access easement is on the west side here. Excuse me. So that being said, it is a very private tract. You do have the National Forest literally right there. You've got a pretty good forest road, established forest road here, just a few hundred feet in. The property itself, tract 18, heavily wooded. You're going to have probably mostly hardwood. You might have some pine and cedar. In fact, you probably will have some pine and maybe some cedar on the property, but predominantly, our best guess, predominantly hardwood trees. We didn't see any signs of recent logging. To our knowledge, everything has been logged at some point. This is no exception, but it's been a few years. I mean, any stumps that we saw were pretty rotted and old, so there's certainly been no logging we're aware of in the last 5 or 10 years at least out here. So a mixture of younger timber and older timber as well. This tract 18, does not currently have a private driveway. So, I mean, you kind of have an option on this one to go in and, if you wanted to do so, to choose your own location, get back a few hundred feet off the road. I mean, you've got to be, I think, at least 100 feet off the road in order to have your campsite or your build site or a parking site or whatnot. But you could go back 1,200 feet if you wanted to, way back to the east side if you wanted to be supremely private. But really, once you get a couple hundred feet back on a heavily wooded property like this, no one's going to know you're there. So you could go further back if you wanted to, if there's a certain spot that you really liked. But once you get, like I said, 200 feet, 300 feet, even 100 feet back, you're going to have that private feel. This tract, actually, if we switch over to a topo map here, there we go, lays very nicely. From the west side where the easement road is, check out the videos to be sure, the ground and drone video. This kind of shows it probably does rise up from the road gradually, levels once you get a couple hundred feet back. You've got a large level area, and then as you go easterly, it begins a very gradual slope downward, which is almost ideal for most people because it's going to be usable. It's certainly not steep, but you're going to have the potential for a view if you wanted to open up some of this. I mean, you'd have the potential to have a good-sized pond because you will have a little bit of runoff to feed a pond depending upon where you put that. I mean, just a nicely situated property. So yeah, I mean, a lot of options on this one. As far as the timber, you can't log the property, you can't sell the timber, you can't cut the timber until it's been paid for in full. At that point, you can go in and you could do your thing. I mean, you could potentially clear cut it or turn it all into pasture. That's after it's been paid for in full. Prior to that, you can't cut the mature timber, except that we do often give people written exceptions if they're doing an improvement like a driveway or a site, and you can contact us for details on that. But I mean, we try to make it easy. We certainly understand that for you to get the most use out of your property, you may need to punch in a little driveway. On a track like this, I mean, we've done a lot of driveways and sites, and we do have equipment now that generally the guys have used, but we've done many sites with just 1 or 2 guys and 1 or 2 chainsaws, guys or girls for that matter, and 1 or 2 chainsaws. And with a couple people and a couple decent chainsaws, well, small chainsaws are the best, really, if you're going to be messing with them all day. A couple good small chainsaws, you can have your driveway and your site done in 1 or maybe 2 days, unless you're really looking at some big project. But again, get a hold of us. We'll let you know the specifics on how to get written permission for timber removal, and you can go from there. But you'd immediately be generally adding value to your site, making it more usable. You get to choose your own site. You get to do what you will with your driveway. Some people want a straight driveway. Some people want to angle it so that the site's not visible. I mean, you've got those options, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, gorgeous tract. Very limited number of tracts at the Devil's Backbone project. You just can't imagine how excited we are to be doing this project. It's so hard to find properties with national forest frontage, and I don't know that we've ever had anything like this, where you've got the good national forest frontage and 10 miles out of a great town. West Plains is a beautiful town, and it's growing all the time. So you've got that just 10 miles away, and you've got national forest right there. So beautiful property, very private. If you have any questions about Tract 18 or anything you see that we have, just give us a call. We would love to talk to you.